Hello everyone, my name is Lauren and I'm the children's librarian here at the Monterey Park Brueggemeyer Library, and during the month of May we will be celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month by each Tuesday reading a book that celebrates the achievements and experience and lives of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So today I will be reading A Life Made by Hand, the story of Ruth Asawa, and this is by Andrea. A Life Made by Hand, the story of Ruth Asawa. This is the story of an artist you may have never heard of. Her name is Ruth Asawa. She was born in California, and her whole family worked on a farm. Working with her hands was an ordinary thing to do. It was what all the hardworking people around her did. But Ruth was no ordinary person. Ruth looked carefully at everything around her. "What kind of plant are you?" she wondered. "What a fascinating shape your shell is, snail. What delicate and beautiful wings you have, my friend. Hello, spider. How did you figure out how to make your web?" Ruth liked to look at the drops of water in her garden. She often stopped to notice how the light shone through their delicate shapes. Her hands were always busy making things out of anything she could find. She made tiny animals out of the wire she found around the farm. She created shapes by folding paper. She loved to draw forms in the dirt with her bare feet. On Saturdays, Ruth got a break from busy farm work. Her parents sent her to Japanese school where she was given lessons in calligraphy. She learned how to hold the paintbrush and shape the bold characters with black ink. When Ruth was older, she continued to study art. She went to Black Mountain College, an unusual school filled with brilliant people. People like choreographer Merce Cunningham, who made shapes in the air with dancers' bodies, and one of her most inventive teachers, Buckminster Fuller, who was always busy coming up with new ideas to make our planet a better place to live. Joseph Albert taught students to make art out of everything around them. Leaves, paper, wire, clay, even garbage. Don't throw it away. Just look at it in a new way. He became famous for his square color paintings. Ruth was eager to learn from interesting people around her. On a trip to Mexico, a local craftsman taught her how to weave with wire, looping it around and around to make baskets. When Ruth got back home, she experimented with wire. She was so excited to discover that a line can go anywhere. In Ruth's hands, simple wire turned into graceful sculptures that were light as air. Ruth continued to weave all day, even when she had a family of her own around her. Her hands never stopped moving as she looped and looped over and over again. Now it was time for other people to look closely and wonder, how did she make that? I think it defies gravity. Is it some kind of sea creature? Maybe something from outer space. The one thing everyone knew was that her sculptures were beautiful. People go to see Ruth's art in museums all around the world. You can too. And I will be reading the More About Ruth Asawa portion that is in the back of the book. Ruth Asawa was born on January 24th, 1926 in Norwalk, California. She was one of 7 children in a family that earned its living doing farm work. Growing up, Asawa and her siblings attended a Japanese school on Sundays to learn the language and culture of their heritage. In February 1942, in response to Japan's attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, the American government instituted a program of incarceration for people of Japanese ancestry. Approximately 120,000 Japanese Americans were removed from their homes on the West Coast and forced to live in internment camps. Over 70,000 were American citizens. The government started by sending active Japanese American community leaders, including Asawa's father, to a detention center in New Mexico. A few months later, Asawa and the rest of her family were forcibly relocated to the Santa Anita racetrack in Arcadia, California. While there, she met and studied with 3 Walt Disney illustrators and co-internees. By the fall of 1942, her family was moved to an internment camp in Rower, Arkansas. In September 1943, Asawa was released from the camp in order to attend college in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Her 3 older siblings were released to study at colleges in Iowa. Her parents and 2 younger siblings were released in November 1945. Asawa continued to pursue her art and was encouraged by friends to study at Black Mountain College in North Carolina. Its faculty included Joseph and Annie Albert, Merce Cunningham, John Cage, and Buckminster Fuller. The college attracted many artists, including Robert Motherwell, Franz Klein, Milton Avery, Elaine de Kooning, Cy Twombly, Robert Rauschenberg, and Jacob Lawrence. While attending Black Mountain College, Asawa met her future husband, Albert Lanier, an architect student at the time. They married in 1949 after Asawa completed her studies. The couple settled in San Francisco, where they raised their 6 children. Besides working on her art and raising a family, Asawa was very active in introducing arts education to public schools. In 1968, she co-founded the Alvarado School Arts Workshop. It brought professional artists into the classroom to teach art, gardening, music, and theater. The workshop eventually spread through San Francisco's public schools. In 1982, Asawa helped found a public high school for the arts, later renamed the Ruth Asawa San Francisco School of the Arts. In 2009, Ruth's Table, a center for creative learning, was founded at the Bethany Center in San Francisco. Its mission is to foster opportunities for people of all ages to engage in creative expression. Ruth Asawa passed away in her San Francisco home in 2013 at the age of 87. And here you can see Ruth Asawa and one of her sculptures. And a quote from her saying, "Sculpture is like farming. If you just keep at it, you can get a lot done." I hope you enjoyed A Life Made by Hand, the story of Ruth Asawa. If you enjoyed this book and would like to check it out via contactless checkout, please check the link in the description below and stay tuned next week for another book that celebrates Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Have a great day. Bye.